Okay, the format for tonight is we'll kick off with the big dog, with Dean Kimpton, the CEO of Auckland Transport, who's going to scene set the situation. And then it'll be followed by presentations from Tim Adrianson, Tiffany Robinson and Timothy Welch. After this, the speakers will regroup here for a panel discussion and a Q&A, and you have the opportunity to ask some of these questions. This we will only be doing via the Slido app. And of course, you're welcome to hit this up on the socials with hashtag Auckland Conversations or ACF 2023. That'll be great. Okay, so Dean, come on up.
Kia ora, everybody. Ko Dean Kimpton, toko ingoa. I'm really pleased to be here tonight to set some scenes for this discussion. It was interesting. I was at the Auckland Council Audit and Risk Committee the other day, and I thought we do an annual report on progress. And I thought this would be a deep dive into all those technical risks, which is why you have your CFO there. But they asked me the most interesting question. I was really pleased for it. What are the things that are worrying you most going forward? And I said there's three. I'd thought about this question beforehand, not specifically for this audience. The first risk is people. Our people at Auckland Transport, that they're engaged, that we retain them, that they're motivated and they bring awesome results to what they do every single day, but our communities and our customers. So the first one was people. The second one is all around how we fund against our aspirations, because we've got a massive gap between the two. And the third was, and I guess is the symmetry with tonight, was around climate change and resilience. And my proposition to them is that we need to know how to communicate this, because outside of this room tonight, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in my opening notes, our community's got a very different view of what that means to them, and we are not communicating this message well. So on that note, I want to pick up on what is transporting to a cooler future. What does it mean? What do we mean by cool? There's two things here. One is clearly we're looking for cooling our climate down, but we're also wanting a transport system that is cool, that is part of an amazing city, an amazing experience for our people in Auckland, but those that visit it, and how they move, how they connect. The sort of transport system and environment that delivers all those social outcomes, environmental outcomes, economic outcomes, because we're connecting. So transport is essential to us achieving our aspirations as Auckland. But what do our customers, what do the people outside this building think? How do they make their choices around what they want from a transport system? So this is the feedback we get. They want it to be safe and efficient and reliable. They want it to be on time, and they want to get from A to B faster than what they would if they chose another option, and they want it to be affordable. They also want it to be a choice that they can make. They can connect when they want to connect and how they want to connect, and when they need to. That's called transport in the minds of Aucklanders, about 1.6 million of them. The really interesting thing, and possibly for this room, is when they think about cool transport, I haven't mentioned climate change, I haven't mentioned resilience, I haven't mentioned decarbonising the system, because that's not how our communities and our customers think. They're making choices that are immediate and in front of them. Not everybody, of course, but many of our customers think that way. So whether we like it or not, the vast majority of our communities making decisions not on the basis of climate change, they're making it on how they will move, whether they can afford to do, whether they can do it safely, reliably and quickly. And you might think Auckland's different to other cities across the world. It's not. But we do know that transport has to, a future transport system has to deliver on those really big outcomes. And I want to share two perspectives and one challenge with us, just to shape up tonight. In Auckland and Auckland Transport Light, we have big aspirations. So we have signed up for our Transport Emissions Reduction Program, otherwise known as TERP. What does that mean? Let me just break it down for you so you've got a view of what the numbers mean, because they're big. Currently we travel 16 or 18 billion kilometres per year on our roads. TERP over the next 10 years expects us to halve that. At the same time, just to be really clear, we will grow another 300,000 people. So the true reduction is not a 50% reduction, it's more than that. It's probably a 60% reduction. One of the tools that we had to help us get there was an increase in public transport, so patronage. We're currently at 80 million passenger trips per year. That's about half of all of New Zealand's passenger transport. By the end of this year, early next year, we want to be at 100 million. TERP requires us to be at 550 million. With all the investment that we've got coming our way over the next 10 years, we will be doing outstandingly against international comparators to get to 200 million. Currently our active mode, so that's those that ride bikes and walk, is less than or about 1% of all movement. TERP requires us to achieve 17% in the same period. I'm just sharpening our focus. If we're going to actually do what we say we're going to do, I need to move on to some of the things that will make a change. So this is all part of the first perspective. That's our challenge. To get there, we're going to have to do the small things superbly, and we are also going to have to think more deeply about how we take our communities through the conversation that's needed if we're ever going to change our behaviour. And my challenge back politically and to civic leadership is that is more than an Auckland transport conversation to have with people about how cities are designed, how neighbourhoods are designed, how roads are designed, how public transport is funded, and how we move. It's a lot bigger conversation. It's a national conversation, it's a regional conversation, it's a neighbourhood, it's a business conversation. My second perspective on this is not only is there big aspirations, but there are really big constraints. Just to name a few to shape it up. If we're ever going to achieve our goals in cool, we're going to have to address consistency in our strategy. So one of NZ Inc is quick to flip-flop and change its priorities, and we'll do this and then we'll do that, and we'll have a light rail and we'll have a harbour crossing and we'll have a northeastern busway and a northwestern busway, but we might stop those. Or maybe we'll put a cycle lane on the Harbour Bridge, or maybe we won't. I went there. But we changed mind. Look at Let's Get Wellington Moving. We are past masters at having a strategy, then changing the strategy, tweaking the strategy, putting it into a business case, and then suddenly wondering why nothing happens. So, my first challenge is have a strategy and stick to it and have the political and civic courage to deliver on it. Second one is we need to fund it. Until you've funded your strategy, it's just rhetoric. It sits there as an aspiration. It cannot be delivered on. We will need to work across agencies to deliver. There's definitely some work we can do there, but not just agencies in partnership with community groups and other stakeholders, and we need to pull in the same direction. But most importantly, we need to change how we talk about this with our communities, otherwise I don't believe nothing will change. We do not currently have the social licence to deliver what we're talking about tonight. It's just a couple of things then in terms of challenge back to the speakers, because I'm going to be listening all ears. Whatever we come up with tonight, whatever your questions are, whatever advice we end up with, it's got to make sense to Aucklanders. It's got to make sense to people outside this room, because the truth is always outside the room. And as Auckland Transport, we are committed to thinking through how we deliver on these aspirations. I'm standing here tonight because I am committed to how we deliver on these aspirations. And one of the challenges I am working through myself, I haven't landed this yet, but I'm working through myself, is that maybe one day our suppliers to Auckland Transport need to demonstrate not only their safety credentials, but maybe they need to demonstrate their carbon reduction credentials and their commitment to public transport and active modes. And that's how we choose our suppliers. On that note, I think I've said enough scenes. Over to the speakers. Thank you, Patrick.